My net worth is probably going to move massive over the next week because a lot of my stocks are reporting earnings. Some of them already reported earnings. I'll chat about those. And then we'll have a little preview of what I'm looking for over the next few days. I plan on making a couple of videos about earnings this week because it's such a massive week. I'll make some earnings prediction videos, some earnings recap videos. Very excited for this week of earnings. Definitely one of the most exciting times in the market is every 3 months, we get craziness in the earnings season. We get to see what's going to happen over the next 3 months in terms of sentiment. And we get to see with our long-term outlooks on our long-term plays, are they holding up how we think they're going to hold up? Are they faring worse? Are they faring better? It's a very exciting time inside of the stock market, and I'm really excited for this earnings season in particular. So I want to jump right in, but real quick, if you're new here, I'm Austin. I'm a co-owner at cloudmusicsuite.com. I'm also a stock market investor, and I'm a shareholder of multiple companies that are reporting earnings this week. Very exciting stuff. If you're not subscribed to the channel, help us hit that short-term goal of 5,000 subscribers. Appreciate you doing that. Let's hop into the video. First, let's check out this graphics for Earnings Whisper of the most anticipated earnings that are going to be reported this week. So on Monday, the main two stocks I was watching was Ford and Waste Management. Ford reported earnings after hours on Monday. That's when I'm recording this video. They had pretty good numbers inside of Q3, but their guidance was very weak in terms of earnings per share. Therefore, the stock is down about 6% after hours. We'll see where it shakes out tomorrow. I would bet that downside is going to accelerate a little bit tomorrow. Who knows? I'm not a short-term player. I'm not doing swing trades or anything, so it doesn't matter to me, but I like to keep up with Ford because I'm a shareholder of Tesla and have been for many years. I like to see how their numbers are comparing to Ford and other huge automakers. And then the other stock I was watching was Waste Management. I've owned Waste Management for a very long time now. It's one of my most boring stocks. It was a turnaround play I bought many years ago. I've gotten nearly 100% gain on that stock, and that doesn't include all the dividend money they've paid me over that time. It's a great dividend payer, great dividend raiser, really, really good dividend growth company. If you're looking for a dividend growth company, they beat on earnings, they beat on revenue, and they raised guidance, triple beat. Stock's only up 2% after hours. We'll probably see it up even more tomorrow. Very excited. Still a happy Waste Management shareholder. Okay, and then Tuesday, we start to get into the bigger money, larger positions that I've got. So first, top of the list here, Tuesday before the open, we have SoFi reporting and we have PayPal reporting. If you're a frequent watcher of the channel, you know I have a very large position with SoFi and a much smaller position with PayPal, but still pretty sizable position with PayPal. SoFi is the big one that I'll absolutely be watching. I expect another situation of beat and raise. They're going to have a crazy quarter. So let's dive in with SoFi real quick. First, the setup for earnings this time around is not super great for SoFi. The reason I say that is because we've gotten blessed with quite a large gain over the past month. Check out this 1 month chart for SoFi. 1 month ago, the stock was sitting at $7.86, and now after hours, we're sitting at $11.11. That's a 42% gain in 1 month. This stock has been super hot, and when a stock is super hot before they report earnings, they have to come in and report an absolutely perfect quarter in order to make Wall Street happy to keep momentum behind the stock. SoFi is absolutely capable of doing that, but there's one number that I think might make Wall Street want to sell the stock, and I'll talk about that here in a sec. As always, if the stock drops, I will definitely pick up more shares. At this point, if you're a frequent watcher of the channel, you know I have an extremely large SoFi position. I feel really comfortable with the size of my SoFi position, but I will say it's absolutely overweight in my portfolio. So I'm not out there buying crazy blocks of shares, but if it drops, I buy a few shares here and there, nothing crazy. But back to earnings. So given the fact that the stock is up so much running into this earnings, there are two things that I think are absolute musts in order for SoFi's upward move to continue. If these things don't happen, I think we could probably chill in the $11 or $10 range. And if we get really bad guidance numbers, or if we get really bad numbers inside this quarter, we could drop back down into the single digits, okay? I do think SoFi is going to come through and make it happen, but we got to prepare ourselves mentally for if the stock drops, what is our plan? Let's make sure we don't panic, and we've thought through all the potential scenarios of what could happen around earnings each time earnings season comes up. So the two musts that I think absolutely have to happen in order to keep momentum in SoFi stock and keep the upward momentum going is one, they have to keep profits, okay? They've reported 2 consecutive quarters of GAAP EPS, and both of those were inside 2024. So 2024 is the year of them flipping from a money loser to a money maker on the bottom line. They had 2 cents of EPS in Q1 of 2024. They had 1 cent of EPS in Q2 of 2024. We have to see a positive number on the GAAP EPS numbers in Q3 for the positive momentum to continue. If they flip back to being a money loser, that's going to be a big catalyst for downward momentum with the stock price. They've got to keep those profits rolling. I absolutely think they are definitely going to keep the EPS positive in Q3 of 2024. They're expected to report about 4 cents of EPS in Q3. If they meet that number, happy with that. Of course, we love to see beats though. 5 cents, 6 cents, that would be a big deal for SoFi. They absolutely have a culture of beating expectations at SoFi. It's been like 10 or 12 quarters in a row of beating on revenue, beating on EPS, beating on margins, and raising their guidance for like 10 or 12 quarters. I don't remember how many quarters it's been consecutively off the top of my head, but it's been multiple years now that they are beating and raising every single earnings season, every quarter. I have faith that Anthony Noto is going to keep that going, and we'll find out in less than 24 hours with SoFi. The second thing that needs to happen in order for the positive momentum to continue is that they need their lending revenue to be up in comparison to expectations, okay? So the general guidance that they've been giving is somewhere between 92 and 95% of the 2023 numbers inside of 2024 for the lending revenue. The reason this matters so much, I know that most people are not in SoFi for their lending business. I understand that. Most people are there for the tech platform, for the financial services, and the crazy growth that they have in those segments. But it's important to note that most of the revenue, most of the profit, and the best margins are coming from the lending side. So Wall Street cares about the numbers in a major way in the short term. Wall Street doesn't care as much about the long-term story like maybe you or I do, okay? They care about the short-term numbers. So if the short-term numbers in the lending side, the biggest side of the business in terms of revenue, in terms of profit, in the best margins, if that's down or it's not meeting expectations or they're having to lower expectations, the stock is going to be down in the short term. What they've got to do is they got to come in and say, hey, actually, we thought 92 to 95%. Now we're thinking 94 to 98% of 2023 revenues inside of 2024. Something along those lines, or just having any commentary and indication that the lending revenue is going to get better in the back half of 2024, meaning Q4 2024 or the beginning of 2025, Q1 or Q2. If they have commentary around it, the stock will probably be a little bit up, maybe flat a little bit. If they have no commentary and they report bad numbers for lending, let's expect that the stock is going to be down, okay? It's important to prep our brains for that, just in case that scenario is what plays out. I have a feeling that at bare minimum, they're going to have some commentary that says, we believe lending revenues are going to pick up in a major way over the next few months because the Fed has started their rate cutting cycle. I think they probably have seen a little bit of a benefit from that rate cutting cycle, but one rate cut is really not going to loosen financial conditions so much that people feel like, okay, money's cheap now, rates are lower, I'm going to go out and borrow money. I don't think that one rate cut is going to do a crazy amount for the revenue. I don't expect an explosion, blow off the top number for lending revenue from SoFi this quarter, but I think over the next few quarters, that's what we're going to see for sure, because the Fed's going to keep their rate cutting cycle going and money's going to get a lot easier to get. People are going to go out there and get loans, okay? So I think they're going to report a little bit higher than expectations on the lending revenue and the contributable profit from the lending side, but I don't think it's going to be crazy, but I do think they're going to have positive commentary that they feel like the next quarter, the next 2 quarters, the next 3 quarters, we're going to have a quite the rise in lending revenue, and I think that's going to put some momentum behind the stock. So my prediction, if I had to make one, although I try to stay away from short-term predictions, is that we will see SoFi's momentum continue, and this is going to be a great earnings, and they are going to make those 2 musts happen. Even if they don't make those happen, I'm definitely going to be holding my shares no matter what. Very excited to see what SoFi can do inside of Q3 of 2024. We'll see that in less than 24 hours. Very excited. I will definitely post a recap video after SoFi's earnings come out as soon as I can. Okay, that's enough about SoFi. Let's talk a little bit about PayPal real quick. I don't have a crazy amount of commentary around PayPal, but I do want to say a few things. One, Alex Chris has been doing a great job. I want to hear progress on the transformation initiatives that they have, the innovation that they've got going at PayPal. That's what I want to hear commentary on. I think the numbers are going to be very strong for PayPal. They're going to beat on their EPS. They're going to beat on their revenue. They're going to have bought back a crazy amount of shares, and that's helping the EPS even more. The stock is up very nicely, something like 60% or so within the past year. Very nice gain so far. I think our gains are only going to be extended after this earnings, and PayPal is going to be on the other side of their woes that they had inside of 2022 and a little bit in 2023. They're on the other side. It's up and away here. It's going to be a slower grower because this is a much more established company than someone like SoFi. So don't expect like another 40% in the next few months, but I do think over the next 2 quarters, we could be touching near $100 a share with PayPal. I'm excited to see it, but like I said, the thing I'm looking for the most is innovation talk on the conference call. That's what I want to hear Alex Chris talk about. When are those innovations going to come to the platforms? What kind of revenue do they expect to bring? What kind of margins are they going to have? Because PayPal's had a lot of margin issues over the years. I want to hear about those specific details. If they don't provide those specific details, I'll be a little disappointed. It's been a minute since they've talked about the innovation at the beginning of the year. I want to hear an update on those things. That's what I'm looking for as a PayPal shareholder. Of course, I'll be looking at the numbers, but I think they're going to report very, very solid numbers. It's an established business. It's extremely well run. The new management team is absolutely killing it. They're beating on their numbers very consistently now, and I think that's going to happen again. And then some other stocks I'll be watching on Tuesday are AMD, of course, Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google. I don't really care much about Snapchat personally. I'll be watching Chipotle for sure. I'll be watching Visa. I'll be watching First Solar. And if anyone is interested in dividend yield investing, like big yields, Enterprise Products Partners is reporting earnings on Tuesday before the open. So those are some interesting stocks to look at. I want to talk about these real quick. AMD's earnings, we get to see how alive is the AI trade still, okay? I own Palantir stock, definitely a big player in the AI space and has been a big beneficiary of the AI trade and a lot of AI stocks getting a lot of money flowing into them. Obviously, Palantir is a very special company and they're in the best spot they've ever been in terms of their financials. Revenue is re-accelerating. Their margins are accelerating like crazy. Their rule of 40 score is like in the 60s now. They're going absolutely crazy. One of the best balance sheets in the entire stock market. Palantir is very special, but I would be crazy to say that they didn't benefit from the AI trade. So if AMD comes out and crushes it and reports great numbers, expect all AI names to get a lot of momentum behind them once again. Next up, Alphabet, the Google parent company. This is a stock I owned many years ago. I made a great profit on the stock, but honestly, I kind of regret selling the stock and I would love to own shares of Google again. I got really, really close to buying the stock about 9 months ago. I didn't pull the trigger and once again, I regretted it. So I am looking for an entry into Alphabet. We'll see if after this earnings, the stock drops in any major way. I seriously doubt it. I do think the stock is going to rise. I think they're going to have a great quarter. A little bit unfortunate. I might just have to bite the bullet and buy shares at slightly elevated prices, but it's not an evaluation that's so disgusting that I just won't buy the stock no matter what. They're at about a 23 trailing and a 21 forward PE, but with 13% revenue growth and 24% EPS growth. It's a very respectable valuation, and I would be okay buying shares at these levels. Obviously, if the stock drops, I would be much more interested in buying shares, but we'll see how it all shakes out. Definitely looking forward to Google's earnings. Chipotle is reporting earnings. They had a CEO transition. Brian Niccol, who was there for quite a while, and he was at Taco Bell before that. He's out. They've got a new CEO in there. I think it's probably going to be a dumpster fire for a few quarters until they can get that CEO transition handled and it's going smoothly. But you never know. Chipotle is kind of like one of Wall Street's darling stocks for some weird reason. So Chipotle might get the benefit of the doubt even if they report trash numbers. I will not be buying Chipotle stock no matter what happens tomorrow. My big bet in the restaurant industry is First Watch Restaurant Group. If you want to look up that stock, check them out. Let me know what you think. Visa is also reporting after the close, one of the best dividend growth companies that the stock market has ever seen. If you want a dividend growth company that is so stable and growing their dividend double-digit percentages every single year, Visa is a great option. What a crazy, amazing business model. One of the highest margin business models you'll find, one of the most stable business models you'll ever find. If you are looking for a dividend growth company, Visa is a great play. I always look at Visa's numbers no matter what. And then the rest of this week, I think I'm going to have to just make a whole nother video for Wednesday through Friday. But Wednesday this week, we got Eli Lilly, Caterpillar, Humana, ADP, Microsoft, Meta, Coinbase, and Robinhood, which I don't really care about. Etsy, you got Carvana, and then you've got Roku and Starbucks. Starbucks just got Chipotle's old CEO, Brian Niccol. It has been a terrible time for Starbucks over the last few quarters. We'll see how Starbucks can make it happen. I seriously doubt the first quarter with Brian Niccol is going to be a banger, but he's probably going to lay out a very detailed plan for how to get Starbucks out of their tough times into better times ahead, all right? I'm interested to hear that. I've wanted to own Starbucks stock for a little while, but typically it trades at such crazy valuations that I just can't wrap my head around it, and I have never bought Starbucks stock, but I'm definitely interested in buying Starbucks stock, especially with Brian Niccol at the helm. He has gotten crazy returns as a restaurant CEO. And then on Thursday, even crazier day. You got Uber, you got MasterCard, we got Estee Lauder, we got the big dog Amazon, we have Apple, we have Intel, we have Lending Tree, which I'll be checking out to compare to SoFi. And then on Friday, you've got the retail stock Fubo. You got quite a few oil and gas companies. Super excited to see what happens this week. You'll see more videos from me this week prepping for earnings and reacting to different earnings from different companies. Very excited that we're inside earnings season. We're really in the thick of it. Can't wait to see what happens this week. My net worth is definitely going to move up or down in probably a pretty big way. I'll see you guys on the next video. That next video is probably going to be a SoFi earnings recap. I'll get it posted as soon as I'm able. Before you go, let me know what stocks you're most excited to see the earnings for this week in the comments below. Main stocks I'm excited for are definitely SoFi, PayPal, Amazon, and Apple. Those are my main four I'm really excited about this week, but there's a lot of companies I'm really looking forward to seeing their earnings. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for stopping by. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.